Hello, people. How are you? So, my name is Kathleen. I'm Brazilian and I love talking about books. And today I want to show you everything that I bought on Amazon Prime Day. And I got new books, obviously. And I'm gonna show you. I already opened them because I recorded an unboxing video for my Brazilian channel, like for my channel that I speak in Portuguese. But I wanted to show you guys everything new that I bought. But before showing you the books, I want to show you the objects that I bought, okay? So the first thing that I'm gonna show you is this desk organizer. It is wooden, like it is made out of wood, and it has 3 drawers, so I can just like put everything that I have on my table now inside the drawer, so the table will look nice and organized. I know that the color right now is like the original color, the wood color, but I think I'm gonna paint it, or at least like cover it somehow to make it look a little bit nicer. But it was so cheap. It was 23 reais. Like reais is the name of our currency, like Brazilian's currency. So if you want to know how much it costs in dollar, you just divide the number by 5. It's going to give you an estimate, you know. So 23 divided by 5, it's going to be the amount of dollars. Calculate there. So it's very, very cheap. That's why I'm okay with the quality. It is wooden, so it's gonna last me a while, and I just need to figure out what color I want it. I think I want to keep it like a wooden color, but I think I need to apply something because it kind of looks unfinished right now. So I might paint it white, or maybe just apply something over it to make you look a little bit more finished and ready, you know, to be used. Someone else that I bought that is not a book, I bought this wine. I bought this Pinot Grigio 2023 from Mendoza, Argentina. It's an Argentinian white wine. These grapes were grown at the base of the Andes, the mountains. So I'm so excited to try it. I've tried a Pinot Grigio before, but it was another brand, another Argentinian brand, but I've never tried this one, and it was so cheap because it's usually expensive. This Pinot Grigio wine is usually expensive here, but it cost me 43 reais, so divide by 5 to discover the amount in dollars, and it was half the price. So I thought it was a very good deal, because usually like medium to good wine is expensive. So I really liked the price, and now I'm going to show you the books that I bought. However, the first book, it was not a purchase, it was a gift. You know, 2 of my students, they are a couple, they gifted me this book. The name I will read the name in Portuguese and then I will do the translation. The name in Portuguese is O Cérebro de Buda, written by Rick Hanson. It would be Buddha's Brain. It is a book about the neuroscience of happiness. So by the name of the author, you can find it is Rick Hanson. I don't know the like literal name in English, because most of the time the translation is not the literal translation. Usually the marketing team translates the title, and sometimes they make some mistakes. But like in the sense of sometimes it's the translation has nothing to do with the actual original book. But yeah, take a look at the name of the author, Rick Hanson, that you can and from his name you can figure out the name in English. But I will also try to show you guys here the cover of the book in English, so you can learn like the original name. And yeah, I'm excited to read it because it's going to talk about neuroscience and the latest research on the topic, and how your brain is connected to your happiness, like what are the hormones connected to feeling happy and everything like that. So very interesting. I loved The Gift. Okay, next book is a Brazilian book. It's a book about gifted intellectuals, like people who develop a very high ability intellectually, and how it can affect their time in school, because like a lot of schools are not prepared to deal with gifted kids or gifted adults, and how it affected their lives. This book has many interviews with gifted adults and how they deal with that, how they deal with having like such high abilities, like high intellectual abilities and high IQ, how it can be like a blessing, but it can also be a curse, because sometimes socially it's difficult to deal with not being standard, because there is a standard, or there is a level of what you are expected to develop when you are learning for your age, but there is a problem when you don't learn as expected. Like if it's inferior, it could be a problem. It could be like a learning like deficit. But if you learn way too fast and way better than the expected standard, it can also be a syndrome or a learning disability too, because your abilities are way too high. It's different than the standard expected for your age. That can cause problems. Of like most of the time, people learn a lot and they have high abilities in one specific area, but then what about the other areas? Like some people, they are very good at maths and science, but what about writing and reading and physical education? Like the body, like can you do everything that is expected in other areas? So the book is going to talk about adults who have high intellectual abilities, like people who are gifted, but focusing on adults. Okay, another book that I bought is Mindhunter by John Douglas and Mark Oshaker. This book is written originally in English, but I have the Portuguese version. This is the Brazilian version of the book, but this one is very easy for you guys to find. The name is Mindhunter in English too, and it became like a Netflix series. I am in a phase that I'm so obsessed with real crimes, like but not the real crime itself, but the investigation. I'm obsessed with how police officers and private investigators discover who is the criminal, and how do they catch these people, like how do they catch the bad guys. So I'm fascinated by it, and the book's so nice. Like inside, the quality of the paper is really good. I think Brazilian editions, they are very good. Like they are all well made. Like the quality of the cover and the paper is usually way higher than like American or Canadian editions. But yeah, it's just about the quality of the object, not the quality of the story itself. So I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that much as long as you can read the story. But the other one that I bought here is a book from a Scottish writer. So this is an international purchase, and you can see the difference in the paper. The paper is not soft. The touch is like newspaper. When you buy the newspaper and the paper is like, it has like a weird dry touch. It's not soft at all. But I like that it's a cream color. I don't like books with white paper. But this book is very interesting to me because it's The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Bethel. He is like the cover is him, like he is the owner of a bookshop in Scotland. He used to sell used books, and he used to write down a diary and, write what happened during his day and the things that happened during the week. And he noticed after a while that a lot of the stories that he was writing in his own personal diary were about actually things that were happening in the bookshop with his clients. And he noticed that most of the stories are funny. And he lived in a very small city in Scotland, and he had the same like clients over and over. And he noticed that some of them were like had like a lot of eccentricities around them, and how they went to the bookstore and what they did there. Sometimes they didn't go there to get books but to do other things. So he decided to get all those stories and make them in a book format. So this is how the Diary of a Bookseller was born. Now this is a trilogy. This is book number 1, but there are 2 other books with the same like writer and the same style. He continued telling these stories, and here you can see a photo of him, like the author. It's very interesting, and yeah, I think I will love it because I love stories about books and about bookstores and about how people, like how book lovers end up like, you know, expressing themselves in like very peculiar ways sometimes, like me included. I'm a book lover, I collect books, and sometimes I just do things that would be weird to do in front of other people, in a bookstore. This is his cat. It's so cute. So yes, I want to read this book so bad. And the last one that I bought is it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. It's a novel. This book, I will read a little bit about the book here, okay? But this book talks about mental health problems. So if it's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, maybe you don't want to listen to what this book is about. But I know that this book is very funny and ironic and, satirical sometimes. The main character is having mental problems, and he ends up in a like institution, and then there he notices that he's not alone, that other people can go through the things that he's going through. So it's more of a book with a light like a light tone and a comedic tone regarding a very difficult topic. So the reason why I bought it was because like a few years ago, one of my cousins was going through a very hard time. This cousin of mine was having mental problems and was feeling very bad because he was feeling like he was the only person in the world who had mental problems. Because in our family, I think, even though I think some of other people might need to go to the psychiatrist, like he was the only one who was going at the time, and he is the only one who is diagnosed with like a mental problem. So he was feeling very alone in that area. Like he was feeling like nobody else in the world had the same problem that he had. So I went to the bookstore hoping and praying that I could buy a book that could make him feel less alone. But I didn't want to buy a self-help book because sometimes I love reading self-help books when I am in my normal, nice, kind of happy state, because I can read the book and try to implement the suggestions from the book in my life. But I don't think it's appropriate to read or recommend a self-help book when the person is like on the worst time of their lives, because they won't have the mental strength to apply what the book is saying to their lives. So what I wanted when I went to the bookstore to buy him a book was I wanted a fictional book in which the character was going through something similar to what my cousin was going through. However, I wanted that character to have like a comedic side or a light view of the situation, something that was not heavy, and I found the perfect option. Like the narrator is very ironic and satirical, and he makes fun of not makes it's not making fun in a negative way, but it's like getting a very bad situation that he's going through. Like the narrator is going through a very hard thing, but he's trying to make fun of himself, and he's trying to see the funny aspect of it all. Like, like how can I deal with this like super difficult situation without getting worse? Like, okay, I'm gonna see this in a comedic aspect. Like he tried to, and that's why my cousin loved this book so much. He told me about the story. He told me that, oh, I liked the book because it's not sad, it's not like a heavy book, it has little sad moments on it, but it's not the intention to make you cry. The intention is to make you smile through your darkest time. So that's the intention of the book, to give you to put a smile on your face even though you're going through hell, because you need a smile on your face to go through that horrible and difficult situation sometimes. It can't be always sad, 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 sad. You need something like kind of funny sometimes to make you feel like, okay, this is gonna end someday, and I'm gonna pass through this horrible sensation that I'm feeling now. And this was what I wanted. Like, I wanted my cousin to feel less alone, and the character here goes through something similar, so he felt less alone, and he felt like he could joke about himself sometimes, even though the situation was really bad and really sad. He could like see that sometimes some of the things that were sad, he could laugh about it because it was, like so different and so unusual and so, I don't know, so alien for everybody, that sometimes you can just laugh at it. And laughing at it made it go away faster, I think, and made it become easier to accept. Like, okay, this is bad, but I can deal with it somehow. You know what I mean? This was the intention, like something that could inspire him to, even though it was terrible at that time. I wanted my cousin to have the sensation that, yeah, I can make a lemonade out of these lemons, like this terrible thing that is happening to me. One day I will laugh about it. So he got that sensation, and that was the point of the book, like giving him like the light at the end of the tunnel somehow. But like now, years later, he's really well now. Like things are like balanced now, things are taken care of. But when he was very like low and suffering through the diagnosis, I think somehow the book could make him like feel a little less bad about it all, a little less melancholic about what was going on. So yes, this is what the book is about. I'm gonna read about it. So the Craig is the main character. Okay, so Craig's suicidal episode gets him checked into a mental hospital where his neighbors include a transsexual sex addict, a girl who has scarred her own face with scissors, and the self-elected president Armilio. There, Craig is finally able to confront the sources of his anxiety. So he's there for very negative reasons in this mental hospital, but he's gonna, tell this in a kind of funny, ironic way. This is the book, like from the inside. The font's really big, I liked it. It has creamy, yellowy pages. Loved it. So I'm gonna read it. I know a lot about this story because like I talked about this book with my cousin, but I've never read it before. So now it's the time for me to read it. Okay, so thank you guys for, sticking with me up to the end of the video. Thank you for the support. So if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps me a lot. Subscribe to the channel. And we will keep on talking on next videos about books, okay? Have a great week. See you guys. Bye bye.